Good evening and welcome to the first edition of Off the Cuff. This is a program where I'll be interviewing one-on-one conversations with my friends. And tonight I want to introduce you to my friend of 25 years, Robert Anderson. Robert, good evening to you and welcome.
Good evening, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for allowing me to have dinner with you and your lovely wife Cleo. It's a beautiful house that you have here, and how long have you lived here at Cleveland for?
In Cleveland, I've lived in this house since October 2008.
Wow, so it's been about 7-8 years.
Yeah, but I've lived in the Redlands for about 30 years.
Man.
So pretty much grew up here.
So you're a true blue Redlands person.
Well, yes, came over from the UK when I was 5 years old and we settled in Ormiston. Coming up 30 years this August, I think it is.
Great. And you're quite the cook. You had some steaks this evening, so thank you very much for that.
Not a problem. I try.
Now, you've just recently become married. Congratulations
Thank you.
to the lovely Cleo.
That's right, yeah.
How did you both meet?
We both met at church at a concert.
Yeah.
And we started dating after that. And, that was in 2010.
Yep.
And then we got engaged in October of 2011. And we got married in 2012 in Australia, but we also had a ceremony in the Philippines in January 2013. So that was amazing, fantastic.
And it would have been a great wedding at the Philippines. Filipino families are known for their singing, their celebration.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was a really wonderful occasion.
Yep.
That was the first time I'd met a lot of the extended family and friends. So it was fantastic to go over there and spend a bit of time there, get to know everyone, and just sort of enjoy the celebration. And it was something I remember for the rest of my life. It was a wonderful day.
Great. Now you're an Australian and Cleo is a Filipino.
That's right.
How have you found adapting to a different culture or adapting to Cleo's family who come from a different country? Do you find that to be a bit of a gap, a cultural gap for you, or?
Not so much. I spent a bit of time in Asia. I lived in China for a year between 2005 and 2006. So I'm kind of used to sort of living in between foreign cultures. The Filipino culture is a wonderful culture. Everybody is so friendly and people are so happy, and that's what I really like about it. And it's just every time I spend time with Filipinos or with Cleo's friends or with the family and everything, it's just a tremendous cultural experience, I find. And like you said, the singing and everything is a big part of that. So
and karaoke is very big in the Philippines,
yes.
and Cleo has a great voice.
She has a
well.
wonderful voice. Yeah, she sings like an angel. So.
Great. And you've just recently become a father. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
To the lovely Dominique.
Yes.
So I had the opportunity to meet her, and lovely baby. So
it's a fantastic experience becoming a father. And,
have you found the adjustment from going from being single to married to fatherhood? Have you found that to be a difficult adjustment, or?
Oh, look, having a child's a big change.
Yep.
But it really is. But it's a good change.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like obviously, one of the things I found is it just takes a lot more time to do things, because obviously we've got to think of Dommy and everything. So whenever we go anywhere, it's not just like, okay, we'll just go down the road or go out to movies or anything. It's like, okay, well, we'll get Dommy ready, we'll get all the things ready.
Yep.
And so obviously the process is a bit longer. But obviously your priorities change, and it's really great. Like I was just saying before, the highlight of my day is coming home from work and then seeing Dommy's face light up when I walk in the door. So it really is fantastic. Yeah.
Great. Now, on to our friendship. Now, we've been friends for 25 years.
That's right, yeah.
We both used to go to Sunday school at our local church.
Yeah.
I didn't know you too well in the opening years, but probably towards the end of high school, going into university, we became really, really close.
I think it was the university days.
Yes, university days that we became really close. Now, I've always known you to be someone who loves sport. And that leads into rugby league. You're a huge rugby league fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you're wearing a Warriors jersey.
Yeah.
But I remember you in the opening years of our friendship as a big Brisbane Broncos fan.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden you've become an Auckland Warriors fan. Now what brought about this switch from going from a Broncos fan to a Warriors fan?
Actually, a funny story. My journey into becoming a rugby league supporter is very unconventional. I'll give you a quick rundown.
Yep.
I had an American friend when I was in grade 7, and he started collecting rugby league cards. And back then, I had no real interest in sports, and anyway, he got me into collecting the cards. So it was really bizarre that an American would get me into watching rugby league.
An American who's into NFL, I would imagine.
NFL, baseball, basketball, but predominantly NFL. And anyway, started collecting the cards, and I thought, well, because I'm collecting the cards, I might as well start watching it. And back then, watching Friday night footy with Dad, and he'd only let me stay up till half time, and then I have to go to bed. But obviously by default, I became a Broncos fan because being growing up in Brisbane and everything. And when the Warriors came into competition in 1995, there was just something about them that was really just really caught my interest. I mean, they had a different style of play. They were obviously the only non-Australian team. They were just something different about them. I love their jerseys, the red, the blue, and the green, and those colours. And that they're just like, this team one day they could be big. And I've always, whenever I've come into following teams, I've always kind of picked a team that I could invest in.
Yes.
And I found the Warriors. Well, one of these days they'll be good. And it's the same with basketball. I started supporting the Miami Heat when they were terrible, and then since then they've gone on to win championships. So it's worked as well with the Highlanders and the Super Rugby. But yeah, I always had the Warriors as my second team. But it was early 2000s, I think, and I was kind of supported both teams. I thought, I'm gonna do something a little bit different here, and I might make the Warriors my number one team. And ever since then, have been a big fan. There's been a lot of bad days, but there has also been some really good times. A couple of grand finals being the highlights, some semi-final wins, particularly one over Melbourne, a couple of wins over Melbourne in the semi-finals were particularly memorable. So there's been some good days, but at the moment, struggling a bit.
And a tough night tonight because the Warriors lost to Canberra in Taranaki.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're a long-suffering Warriors supporter. This is like nights to like tonight. Now you're wearing the current Warriors jersey, is that correct?
This is actually a heritage jersey. It's basically like a throwback to the 2002 Grand Final jersey.
Yep.
So for me, wearing this brings back a lot of great memories. Obviously, that 2002 season with some fantastic players like Ali Lauatiti and Francis Melly and Henry Farfili and Clinton Torpy and all these guys that used to ignite the back line, and the big forwards and Ivan Cleary and Kevin Campion and these guys that used to play. So just for me, it sort of reminds me some of the really, really good days. So,
Can the Warriors win this year?
Are you asking me with my head or my heart?
Head first and heart.
My head says no, my heart says you never know. All it takes is to string a few wins together, but from what we've seen so far this year, it's looking unlikely.
Do you think the Broncos can win the premiership?
I definitely think the Broncos can win.
Yeah.
Broncos will be very hard to beat. Broncos, Cowboys, and Melbourne Storm would be.
So there's a little bit of Brisbane in your blood, or is that completely gone?
I don't know. See, growing up, my favourite player was always Steve Renouf. Okay.
Yes.
And
his try in '92 was brilliant.
Exactly.
In that
and
final
he scored
against St George.
Yes.
Still remember it.
And he scored a lot of tries like that. And that's what I liked about him, the way he would just hit the gap.
Yep.
And his acceleration was awesome. And I think when he left the Broncos at the end of the '99 season, I think in many ways, a lot of my sort of passion for the Broncos maybe went with him.
Yep.
If that makes any sense. I mean, obviously, after that they had some good days. They won premiership in 2000 and everything,
but probably not the same consistency in the 2000s and in the 2010s as compared to say the 1990s. Although Coach Wayne Bennett is back in Brisbane.
The super coach.
The super coach.
Yes.
Coached Broncos to a final, didn't win it. Although, with North Queensland winning, I'll take that as a consolation.
One of the greatest grand finals I've ever seen, I must say. So.
Well, hopefully this year will be the Warriors' turn.
Maybe. Touch wood.
Touch wood. Now the other passion that you have, the passion in our friendship would be cricket. We've always spoken about cricket. We've always been fans, going back to the 1990s and right on through now to 2016. Although things have sort of died down a little bit. That generation of Shane Warne, Glenn McGrath, the War Twins, and all of that. Yeah. Since they've moved on, we've sort of lost the zest for cricket in that regard.
I think so. Yeah.
But there is one moment in our 25-year friendship that we had and it was your 21st birthday or your 22nd birthday. So what happened was you had your birthday party at your parents' place, bunch of your family, bunch of your friends have all come, and I've rocked up with my gift for you. And it was a poster of Matthew Hayden, who was an opening batsman for the Australian cricket team back in the 2000s. And it was signed by him with a gold pen. And when you opened it, the look on your face was one of sheer exhilaration, and you were just overjoyed. You were beside yourself. Do you still have that poster?
I do. I still have it. Obviously, I don't have any posters up anymore, but I think I found it the other day and brought back a lot of memories. Obviously Matthew Hayden was my favourite cricketer of all time. And
where do you rate him on the list of openers? In cricket history.
In cricket history, he's got to be up there. There's been a lot of great openers. As far as Australia is concerned, I'd say he'd have to be at least top 2 or 3 openers in Australian history. To me, he'd always be number 1, but I know statistically he scored something like 30 Test hundreds.
30 Test hundreds. And a great partnership with Justin Langer.
The two left-handers.
Two left-handers, unusual, but he probably couldn't have achieved what he achieved were it not with his trusty partner, Justin Langer, at the other end.
Yeah, I think they both seem to really motivate each other, and I think I heard them talking about their partnership and how they would set small goals and they'd work from there to build, and they had all those 200-run stands and everything, which was amazing. And one thing I'll say about Matthew Hayden is he got into the Test team in the early to mid-90s, and he didn't really fire, did he? And never really succeeded. And it was just something I was like, I know he has more to offer in the international arena. And then everyone was saying, Hayden will never get back in the team. And sure enough, I think it was in about 2000 he got back into the Test team.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. After that tour to India, I'd say in 2001, that was the making of the man. So.
This is great. This has been quite a recalling of great times over the years for us. I just want to finish now with Q&As. So these are just short questions I'll ask to finish off our first episode of Off the Cuff with my friend Robert Anderson. So here we go. Favourite colour?
Red.
Favourite movie?
I would say it's either Predator or the Transformers cartoon movie from 1986.
When you're in a good mood, which one?
I've got to go with Transformers. Lifelong fan.
Awesome. Famous person you'd spend a day with?
I would say someone I always looked up to when I was growing up was someone like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan being someone who was the absolute best at his sport, and I guess there was so much I could learn from him. Like, how did you stay that good for so long?
But he never played for Miami Heat.
Exactly. If only he played for Miami. But I know the Heat played against him in the playoffs, and he had a good record against us, unfortunately. But just purely from a fan's point of view, someone that I just admired him as a player, and he was just awesome to watch. So I guess I enjoyed.
And one final question: where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Look, I'd like to be, have maybe another child. I'd like to be, just someone that my kids can look up to, and just someone who can say I'm a good dad.
Great.
And I suppose that's all I really hope for in terms of my family and everything. So.
Robert Anderson, thank you for joining me on Off the Cuff.
Absolute pleasure, thank you.
And that's Off the Cuff for this evening. Until next time, it's good evening.